Hello, I'm Steve McIntyre, the Chief Marketing Officer of the Nycomm Group, and I'm joined by Tom Harris, who's our Digital Marketing Apprentice. And we're discussing apprenticeships in the modern workplace and their value to businesses. So Tom, why did you become an apprentice?
I became an apprentice because I was currently at university studying computer video game design, but I kind of fell out of love with the course. I wasn't really enjoying it that much, so I decided to do an apprenticeship instead because I thought that was the only way that I can get my career going again. So I decided to, as I quit the course, I decided to learn social media and digital marketing for an online course instead. And then I decided, right, the next step was obviously an apprentice because I thought, what's better way to get some learning experience and getting paid at the same time?
So before you took on the apprentice role, did you have any misconceptions? You'd have any concerns about taking an apprenticeship?
No, not really. Most of my friends actually did apprenticeships, but I thought, because I don't know why, I thought maybe going the university road would have been better for basically companies looking for people outside of work. But then as I grew up and experienced some of the qualities of an apprenticeship, I now realise that it's actually could be better to get an apprenticeship than actually go to university itself.
So do you enjoy the apprenticeship you're doing now?
Yeah, I love my apprenticeship. I love learning experiences. I love learning new opportunities that come with the job. There's many things that I thought I wouldn't be doing that I am doing now. So yeah, it's always good to learn new skills.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose from our point of view, we have to pay the apprentice levy. So rather than just waste that money, it's put that to good use. Yeah. And it's also in some of the roles we were looking for, as you'll know with your digital marketing role, there isn't really the right kind of experience. So the best way to do it was to bring someone in and train them for the role we wanted to do, but also have them go through an education program as you're now at a point where you're bringing input back to us. So we're getting the benefit of your structured training, but also you're learning from the on-the-job point of view.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
In study, I've always found that somebody who has a degree, as opposed to somebody who had studied an apprenticeship and then got to a similar level of education, is far more employable because they've spent 3 years in work.
Yeah, that's true.
And we've definitely, I've seen that both here and in previous roles, that when you bring someone in who's had an apprentice or done day release education, then that work experience is invaluable, and I would much rather have that person offered a role than someone who's just come out from full-time education, because they have to learn to work.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is a big thing. And I know that's part of the process when you joined. We've gone through that and expanded on it. So would you recommend apprenticeships to other people?
Definitely. I definitely would recommend apprenticeships. I feel like, seeing as I've been to uni, I feel like doing an apprenticeship is better because, like I said, you do get paid for it. You've got on-learning jobs, you're learning new skills all the time. You've got something to show other employers if you do move on from your apprenticeship. It's up to you. Whereas in university, like you said, you're only in learning. You've got no experience on the job. You don't know how to work in an actual job role. You don't know how to work in the actual company. It is a brand new experience, but I feel like at a young age, if you do start and you go straight into a company doing an apprenticeship, it'll be better for you in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose from a marketing perspective, it's earn and learn.
Yeah, exactly.
If that's not too cheesy. But I mean, it's also from the point of view of the businesses that, particularly in digital marketing, which is more on the cutting edge of the educational thing because it's evolving all the time. The benefit we have from a business point of view is that we get that fresh input from youth. And I know we joke sometimes about youthful exuberance, but it's your input and the way steering the way modern thinking's going with the digital marketing side, that's the benefit we have of you coming on board. But we've also got to be careful that we give you enough breadth of role. Yeah. Now, I know some people look at apprenticeships and they think, well, they're just using it as cheap labour. But I think in having a structured approach, that you can definitely see that we've had different areas of development for you, but also the education that you're getting in a structured way, you're bringing some input back. I mean, I'm thinking Google Analytics dashboards and elements like that, where you're doing things that the business isn't looking at. And that's much more of a two-way street educationally. Yeah,
I completely agree. I feel like, especially with digital marketing, because it's a new and upcoming thing, whereas people are used to just normal marketing and being in the old ways, digital marketing is, like I said, upcoming. It's bringing in a lot of new information that some companies don't realise, like things that they need to start doing, because everything, as you already know, technology is growing as we wouldn't expect it to be at this stage. And then we've got new equipment coming in and everything, so I feel like, yeah, apprenticeship with learning and being digital is a great way to go for the future.
Yeah, I mean, even with us being a technology business, I mean, we sell technology and cloud computing, whatever other elements come across that, but we still we're running in what we think is current thinking, but quite often you've come in with ways to challenge that.
Yeah.
And that's the benefit for the business in having the apprentices. You get that youthful input and you have a different way of looking at things.
Yeah.
No,
Completely agree.
you know, sometimes it has to be channeled in the right way, but it's understand that you don't always have the answers. And certainly for other companies who are paying a levy, why not get that input? Why not?
Definitely.
We can invest in yourself, get you into a role that you're enjoying and broaden out the horizon of that, but it's also giving youth a chance. Because a lot of times when we're looking at interviewing, when people come with no experience, and we had this conversation recently on when looking at graduates who've been full-time employed, I would much rather employ someone who's gone through the digital apprentice program because they've learned how to work. And in fact, we've just done that in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's one of those areas where we can actually show we walk the walk as well as talk the talk with it. But it's definitely a way ahead. So from your perspective, would you recommend it? How would you recommend it to other businesses?
I'd recommend it to other businesses. It's a great way. Like you said, some people might see it as cheap labour, but it's definitely not that. You've got, like you said, a youthful person coming in. You've got your experience yourself to teach them the ways, push them forward in their career, make it even better for them, make it even better for the company. Like you said, the apprentice could go through tutoring like I'm currently doing every week. So I'm also learning new stuff outside of the company, which I'm then bringing into the company, which can also improve how the company works and make it grow. They could be doing something where they think it's correct. However, that's not the way the world works anymore, which in retrospect is the way they should be going.
Yeah, and it's one of those that I think it's making sure that you're doing things in a structured way. So you've got every Friday you're at college, and then in the following week we've got updates on what's happening and trying to manage that process. So it's recognizing the both ends of the value. The value in you having a role, you can come in to work, and obviously that gives you a salary, but it's also the broadening of your training experience, but also the practicality of it. So on a Friday you're learning the theory, and then hopefully on the Monday to Thursday you get to put that into action.
Yeah, that's good.
And then change the way we're doing things.
Yeah.
And I'd say that's definitely the benefit from a business perspective, is that you're getting the latest developments in what's happening in the marketplace. So it's as close to cutting edge as we can get it.
Yeah.
But I know across the business, because we've not just got them in marketing, we have apprenticeship in HR, we're looking at radio apprentices, so we're trying to broaden that out. And the only other advice I would give to business looking at it is engage with people like the growth company early in the process, so that you can get that structured and you get the right selection of candidates. So
I agree.
I think other than that, it would be a resounding big tick.
Yep, I totally agree.